It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Marching line. Hey. Hey.
I cherish the memories of a question my grandson asked me the other day when he said, "Grandpa, were you a hero in the war?" But I served in a company of heroes.
You've reached the voicemail of Olive Branch Municipal Court for business hours from Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you've reached this voicemail, we are either in court or otherwise unavailable. If this is Monday, Thursday, or Friday, please call back after 2 p.m. for assistance. If it's Tuesday or Wednesday, please call back after 3 p.m. If you're calling for your Zoom ID, it is 5066662472. Thank you for your patience during this time. Please leave a message.
Okay. So now that is the third time that I've called, and it's the same thing. Rings and goes to voicemail. I've even called from 2 separate numbers in the event that one of my numbers is tagged in their system. Just do not answer. Okay, so I'm calling Olive Branch Municipal Court, trying to find out what happened with the sentencing of Phyllis Crowder. She was given 30 days which she pled nolo contender to, and they pled out to that with the intention of appealing it. However, the plea of nolo contender means no contest. Is it not the very definition of contesting something? If you plead no contest to it with the intention of appealing it, there's a lot of pay for play that is going on right now, and I'm about sick of it. Something's got to happen. Something's got to be done. Let's try Olive Branch again.
This is Ashley.
Hey Ashley, I was calling. I'm inquiring in on a case that was that's over now, and I'm trying to get some clarification, some understanding on what transpired. I've called up here a few times. I was the victim in the case, and
is this Mr. Reardon?
Yeah.
Okay, I could just tell by your voice. Why didn't you come to court and ask for the copy of the stuff?
Well, if you remember, that following day or whatever, I think it was the next day after I spoke with you, I had told you I've got vehicle issues, and I've got definitely financial issues right now because of all the false accusations and just the mess that had been stirred up and started by my ex, and I just wasn't in a position to come up there to Olive Branch the next day.
Okay. Can you come? Could you come this Thursday?
I could. Well, yeah. I should be able to. Yeah.
If I were you, just because the judge said he was wanting to talk to you about everything, so I would come back Thursday. You could come at 9 or 2.
Okay. I have a pretty good idea what's, because her attorney actually just sent me an email last night that she had explained to Judge Shoemate that the Chancery matter in Oxford and about, in the best interest of the child. But what the judge clearly didn't understand in this matter was that I've been the only one that's been civil since day one. I have suffered directly at the hands of this girl putting false accusations against me that have been proven unsubstantiated. She has been enabled fully, and she has kept my child from me since January. It's her that's refusing to co-parent, and so all this did was this further enabled her and created a larger problem if she was let go and not charged. It's ultimately culpable negligence, especially if she strikes again, because I've been completely victimized by her, and I've not even seen my child since January. So they flat out lied to the judge, especially if he just let her go. It's a very serious charge, and I was completely victimized, and I still am. I still can't even see my daughter.
Okay. There's nothing that I can honestly really say, Mr. Reardon.
It's shocking. The state of Mississippi and the courts have created a monster in her that, she's going to continue to strike. She feels 10 foot tall and bulletproof. And, meanwhile, I'm the one to truly suffer here, and I can't get justice at the hands of the system that's supposed to administer it. You know, and I mean, if the judge got falsely accused of rape, I'm pretty sure he would understand my standpoint, especially if his daughter was immorally kept from him. So yeah, I guess I would like to address the judge, because the judge clearly needs to be addressed.
Okay, then you'll have to come Thursday at either 9 or 2.
This whole thing is fishy. It screams just some type of involvement that has intervened. And it's absolutely heartbreaking to me, because true justice is not getting rendered. I have been continually victimized at the hands of my ex, Phyllis Crowder, at the hands of her attorneys, at the hands of Lafayette County, and certain individuals in Lafayette County, including those that have lots and lots of sway. One that actually has enough sway that while everything was going on with riding with the Outlaw, and at the peak of allegations being publicly made, he gets appointed to the Attorney Bar Association Tribunal. So basically, the people that you would complain on a attorney for misconduct, appointed to this tribunal by the Supreme Court. And it's clear, it's just about clear to me at this point, that no way on the state level can I get any type of fair treatment. Will the laws ever be applied equally? The word deep state is something that too many are not taking at its true meaning, because too many have not experienced exactly what the deep state is. You've heard President Donald Trump, speak about the deep state and draining the swamp. And I tell you, that swamp is deep, 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 murky, and it's like a black hole. I cannot see the end of it. It continues to get wider and get deeper, involve more people in positions of authority and power that are doing things that ethically they know are wrong. Including yesterday at Chancery Court, a judge that I thought no doubt about it, would have to rule in my favor, based on evidence, based on the absolutely false and frivolous claims made at the hands of my ex, Phyllis Crowder, after she was charged by Olive Branch Police Department with filing of a false accusation of rape. In retaliation again for her getting caught in a lie, and this has happened for 2 years straight. Actually, it's been 3 years straight now that there's just been an out-of-this-world vindictive mission to try to frame me for something I didn't do. These true criminals in this area have steadily conjured up and conspired to charge me, to wrongfully charge me, or wrongfully accuse me of a crime that I did not commit, and even worse, not only did I not commit it, but all of these accusations that have been made, in fact, no crime ever was committed. And that's the truth. No crime was ever committed in any of these. Going back to May 24th, or May 26, 2017, it was the arrest that was made that claimed honor before May 8th. I had put Todd and Ashley Lynch in fear of their life with an AR-15, and they knew the entire time. Well, maybe not at the time that they quickly, rashly threw together the fake, funny, frivolous charge. Actually, it's far from funny. But it wasn't long after, if they didn't know at the time, that there was no possible way I could have committed the crime. And in fact, that no crime was ever committed because I didn't actually own an AR-15 until May 20th, 2017. The FBI knew this, met with them, but they're part of the problem. The U.S. Attorney's Office knew about it, but they're part of the problem. Blowhard Bob Norman, I put my faith in him, went to him because of a death threat that was on me, as well as the Tannehills had cut a cheap shot injunction against me for the sole purpose. It was not that I had scared them or anything. It was that was the only effective way that they could bar me from speaking City Hall on June 6th, the day that Robin was elected. There was no doubt about it whatsoever. The only other way was exactly what they did. It was like a fallback contention plan to have me arrested, for me to be in jail, or ultimately I was silenced and held away. All of this couldn't have even happened without the involvement of several people that played a key, significant part in everything. And I'm still working on a calendar of events to show the true dates and show everything closely tied together. In fact, just going back and thinking about different things that transpired, it's actually making me think of things that I hadn't thought about before, look at it in different angles. I think it's very odd that on May 8th, 2017, May 8th was the day that I came back from New Orleans. I met with my attorney for a limited court appearance, Charles Yale. He helped me prepare a counterfiling against my ex, Phyllis Crowder. This was another false accusation brought on by Liz, and it's easy to see where she got all this stuff from. When you look at the 17 police reports that she filed over 5 years' time that I wouldn't have even known about had I not have done a public record request to get these from the county. Any and all police reports filed by Phyllis Crowder over the past, I think I said 7 years, and they gave me 5. So, you got all this May 1st, of course, being arrested by Timmy Pruitt on the square in Oxford in front of the statue. It was an unlawful arrest. It was an arrest that actually went viral on Cop Block, on social media. It was picked up and widely shared. I had called for the suspension of Timmy Pruitt. The department didn't originally want to do anything, but because of the attention, they ended up having to suspend him. I guess. There was a brief vacation that Timmy Pruitt had spent away from the department. It's odd that actually it was at this time that Lamar Adams was indicted for running the largest Ponzi scheme in Mississippi. Timmy Pruitt was actually the guy that tended to his properties. And he, of course, used the Ponzi scheme money to help fund his property investment. So that all happened May 1st. Okay? Within an hour of my arrest, my unlawful arrest there on the square in Oxford on May 1st, Phyllis Crowder, her attorney that she had hired on this matter by the name of Mona Pittman, had filed a motion against me, a contempt motion. It was a restraining order, actually, that she had filed against me, saying that I had that she was in fear of her life because of my carrying of a gun. I think actually in the restraining order, she had lied and said that I had put her in fear of her life, and that's never been the case. I've never caused truly any kind of harm to her. I've actually been on the receiving end when it came to just everything. My life was ruined at the hands of this girl. You know, if there's one thing that I truly, truly regret, it's ever meeting her. And that's a very, very hard pill to swallow, because I would not have my daughter Lydia, my 6-year-old daughter Lydia, would not be the same child, certainly. But I haven't been able to be a father to her anyways, because of all these false accusations. The majority of her life she's been stripped away. The state, the county, has allowed her to continuously get away with this nonsense. They have enabled her to the fullest. I call it aiding and abetting a known criminal. It is exactly what this is. They have fully enabled the problem. They have helped the problem. They have been part of the problem. And it's sickening. So, May 1st, everything happens. Restraining order given to me that was taken out within the same hour, ironically, that I was unlawfully arrested for solely standing on the square in Oxford in front of the statue, holding the state flag, having a gun on my hip. That was not a protest. It's not a protest unless it's multiple people. One person is never considered a protest. And since then, they've revised the rules to actually reflect that. It's got to be like 3 or more, I think. So, there's that. There is on May 8th, I came back from New Orleans, and I went and found Mona Pittman, who is my ex's attorney, and I served her with the counter response, with the counterclaim against her client, my ex. Now, what was ironic about all that, I shouldn't have been the one to serve that. That should have just been put in the mailbox, but because of the extent of the accusations made by her client, I felt that I wanted to go the extra mile right there, and I wanted to personally serve this attorney. See who this attorney was prior to court the next day. So, after driving around Oxford for quite some time on a live stream on Facebook, had it going on live stream, and Mona never kept an accurate address. It showed multiple addresses for her and different links on Google. The main information description for Mona Pittman showed an old address that she had long since moved out of. Well, apparently I had quite a few people that were on that live stream. Quite a few. And come to find out, I guess some people had made a call, figured out where she was at. So obviously she was tipped off to the fact that I was looking for her office to serve her. Come to find out that she was in the basement, the downstairs lower level of none other than Ray Tannehill's office on North Lamar. And I had had a couple of run-ins with Ray in the year prior. Actually, really about a year and a half prior. Him and I, let's just say that we're not the best of friends. But it had not gotten nearly to the point of where it got to and where it is now back then. So, served her the documents. Of course, she said, "You're not supposed to do that." And I said, "Well, you just got served on the live stream." Handed her the papers. She said, "Hey, everybody," waved, and I left the office. And I've got that video on several things with riding with the Outlaw. Good stuff. May 16th, I spoke out at the City Hall meeting. Robin Tannehill was one of the main proponents that had pushed for the state flag of Mississippi to be taken down on city property in Oxford. This was the voted-in state flag of Mississippi, okay? The city of Oxford, and I don't know how much it is in state funds that it takes and how often. I guess that's one thing that I would love to find out, just out of curiosity. But I had a grievance, and my grievance I felt like was common sense, and I still do to this day. If you take state funds, it should be an obligation to fly the state flag, because the citizens, as a majority, voted for that flag. So, not flying the flag voted in by the citizens is basically not honoring the citizens' vote, and you should not be taking funds that are contributed by taxpayers if you are not honoring their vote. And so, there's a common sense grievance right there. Pat Patterson, the current mayor, wouldn't let me speak out at City Hall. I said I was going to address it anyways. And I called each of the Board of Aldermen members and the mayor a cultural Marxist if they stood by keeping the state flag of Mississippi down while taking state funds through tax dollars. That was May 16th. May 20th, okay? Things started heating up more and more. The mayor's race was going on. It's not really a mayor's race because she wasn't even contested. It was just her, so she effectively had this locked up back in March to become the 36th mayor of Oxford. And the only thing that would have stepped in the way of that is if any bombshell discovery came out that just simply would have discredited her or even been criminal. May 20th. After receiving word of a death threat being on me, and this was sent to me by my ex, I should have never put any type of faith in things that she was saying, and I've learned that since. Through all the lies, nothing but lies, nothing but craziness. On May 20th, I went and I purchased an AR-15. It was from a guy that was down closer to Jackson, Mississippi. He was wanting, I think he was originally wanting $650 or $700 for the gun, and I got him down to $550 for it. And it was a Delton, and it was tricked out with accessories, had a case, had some ammunition. Got a make-do bill of sale. He didn't actually have a true bill of sale sheet. He was a country boy. But he wrote out on a sheet of paper the serial number, his name, that I'm selling this weapon to Matthew Reardon on May 20th, 2017. And signed it. Transferred ownership. So later on that night, after I stopped and I stayed in Grenada on the way back from Jackson. Didn't really care to be back in Oxford, as I stayed at a hotel off in Grenada. And I got some Fireball, and I should have never drank Fireball and done live streams. But I did. And that's where the Fireball rants come from. And that's where emotionally I'm talking about how my daughter, how I was prevented from seeing my daughter. She was held from me as a wedge of the court, basically. And it's very ironic if you look at the situation back then and you look at the situation now. The same exact things have transpired and gone on. And there's no two ways about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts that this thing has been a conspired upon plot to help alleviate liability. Liability brought on by the state, by the county, the sheriff's department, and it was done at the hands and the help of my ex, who played a major part in it, through her attorney, or her original attorney, in the child custody matter, Ray Tannehill, who happened to be the husband of the incoming mayor, Robin Tannehill. And that's why on May 22nd they had taken out a emergency injunction on me, because I was actually listed on the docket to speak out on June 6th at City Hall. And I was hunted down, pulled over on campus on the 23rd and served it. Told that, on that injunction I couldn't be within 500 yards of the Tannehills, or feet. It effectively barred me from speaking at City Hall. On May 24th, a mystery phone call came in to Lafayette County Sheriff's Department, to Jared Bundren. So they admitted on a public record request that was created. Okay, it said the creation date of this report was May 30th, 2017, and in it Jared Bundren says that he received a call on May 24th about threats being issued to Frank and Marley's owners, Todd and Ashley Lynch, which never happened. And you can look at the Facebook account. If Facebook will ever release that account that they had taken down. I have asked over and over for any type of proof to be shown, and of course nothing from the Sheriff's Department. May 24th, several things happened. There was a call that supposedly came into the Sheriff's Department to Jared Bundren, although the Sheriff's Department will not admit who that call came from. there was also a civil cover sheet that was filed in Chancery Court by Mona Pittman on the 24th of May. The 24th of May was also the day that my drug test results had come back and were less than favorable to the other side, because it actually, honestly, was, other than a slightly elevated alcohol count from drinking, it matched Phyllis's. And something that I tried to assert over and over and over again, that it was stupid to make me take a drug test, that she will show the same exact thing that I did. Nonetheless, I proved them right. Okay? And that drug test result had come back on the 24th of May. The 24th of May, I also met with Bob Norman, Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Northern District, who's now referred to as Blowhard Bob. Bob told me to go meet with the FBI about what the Tannehills had done and the death threat. So he called over there. I actually went by and I sat down with the FBI on the 25th in the morning. And it was sometime, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was sometime before lunch. Then later on the 25th, that was when I had done my Patriot March on the square, because Mississippi is a constitutional carry state, and I felt that Oxford had gotten way off track of the Constitution. And I walked around the square holding the state flag with a bulletproof vest on, with an AR-15 draped across my chest. Of course, I had my pistol on my side, like I always had, holstered, and just simply holding the state flag. Never was aggressive. Actually have the whole, hour and a half video. I'm getting heckled. Yeah, I play into it, but I never got aggressive. I never issued any threats. I never came across as a threat. In fact, I explained multiple times that my whole purpose of being there was because it was a constitutionally afforded right. Legislatively, constitutionally, both state and federal. And of course, the liberals, they were having a shit fit, but that was already a guarantee. That was already known. No doubt about it. Same ones that called and said that, they made up whatever May 1st, whenever I was just standing there minding my own business, holding the state flag in front of the statue. May 26th, which was my mother-in-law's birthday, I was set to meet her for the first time at dinner time. A couple hours prior to that, I'm ambushed on the square in Oxford, pull in right in front of Regions, because that was the closest parking spot available. I was going to walk over to the round table to go have a beer or two with Jimmy House. He was a follower of the things that I was doing, worked at Winchester. Him and several at Winchester were supposed to show up actually the day before, whenever I did my constitutional march, and they were supposed to actually have flags and stand and walk with me. But they had to work late, supposedly. And so, I don't know how much extra involvement there is. I don't. I've never met Jimmy House. And it's funny that there was both of those two times that he was supposed to be there. The second time, the 26th, whenever I was about to go to the end of the round table, was when I was ambushed on the square by 4 sheriff's deputies. Wouldn't tell me what I was arrested for until they got me to the jail. It was there that they told me, do an affidavit, they said that, or arrest affidavit, they said that it was aggravated stalking, that on or before May 8th, I put the Lynches in fear of their life with an AR-15. And I was in total shock because I didn't purchase it until May 20th. The FBI knew that, the U.S. Attorney's Office knew that, the Sheriff's Office had to have known that, and if they would have done any kind of investigation into it, they would have known that. Jared Bunder did not do his job, clearly. That, or it's aiding and abetting. And I've made numerous references to that. I don't understand how somebody gets promoted to captain of the investigation unit of Lafayette County Sheriff's Department, which is what happened. Jared Bunder, somebody who clearly did not do an investigation, has been promoted to the supervisor of investigations. They won't tell me when he was promoted. They said that I'm not privy to that information, and damn it, that should easily be, the public should easily be privy to information such as that. But it's not hard to tell why they're being difficult on releasing that information. I was held unconstitutionally in jail at a unbelievably high bond set by a judge that has, looking at other bond rulings, has been notorious for ruling based on personal feelings, on politics, and even on color of skin. The fact that I stood up for Southern heritage, that clearly I wasn't a Democrat. I fought Democratic ideology. $150,000 bond. Never been charged with a felony crime a day in my life. And I tried to bring forward the proof that I couldn't possibly have done it. None of that mattered to Carolyn Bell. None of it. She was dead set on keeping me locked away on a bond that she knew that I couldn't afford. At the same time, on May 30th, that was the day that Jared Bunder created the report that said that he received a call on May 24th. I would think it's protocol that if you receive a call, especially if it's involving weapons, any kind of threats, that it would be standard protocol to create a report that day. In fact, I spoke with Major Cox, Internal Affairs at Olive Branch Police Department just a little while ago. That was the question I actually meant to ask him. I forgot. So I'm glad for doing this little podcast because it helped me remember, helped jog my memory on that question that I think is very important. What's the standard protocol on a report? I would think it would need to be done the same day. So that happens. I find out later, actually more recently this year, that Mona Pittman had filed the cover sheet on the 24th. Oddly enough, the day that the call comes into the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department. And oddly enough, within the same hour that I'm ambushed on the square in Oxford, Mississippi on the 26th. She filed a contempt motion against me in Chancery Court, claiming that I was using drones to stalk her client. And the funny thing is, through the police reports that I've gathered, they show that I think it was probably 4 or 5 times during the month of May she tried to assert the same thing about me flying a drone over her house, that I had a drone that reached 3 miles away. And never once did I ever have any type of want. Girl's not important to me at all. Not one time did I ever fly a drone over her house trying to stalk her from the air. In fact, if you want to really look at stalking and who the stalker is, it's her. And despite her reports being dismissed, and even Deputy Micah East further making, and it's evident in the police reports, they know that she is just off her rocker, making claims that are not true. She's pointing to what she alleges to be a drone right in front of them. And they're like, no, that's an airplane. And she continues calling, making these same claims. They are steadily dismissed as the same thing, because they pointed out every time to her. And her attorney had the gall to file a contempt motion against me in Chancery Court. And she filed that within the same hour that I was ambushed. They did that as a way of a sneak attack, of making sure that that was their backup plan in order to further jam me up in legal shenanigans and to try to take a winning position on control of my daughter. It's been absolutely sick, and if you look at the timestamps on everything, when the time lines up, it certainly does raise every red flag in more ways than one. Why Mona Pittman would be a key subject in all this. Because of not only the dates and the times lining up on everything, her trying to take an unfair approach at giving her client that was everything but innocent a leg up, even if it meant falsely accusing and destroying the life of an innocent person who had volunteered, signed up for the Marine Corps 10 years prior to that, served his country, and even further, injecting her own restraining order into her client's papers that she had me, that they ended up, ultimately, the attorney that I had me sign. I was unfairly pressured and coerced into every legal decision made that month that was completely a non-characteristic of me, and I wouldn't have done any other way, except for the fact that I was in an orange jumpsuit, held for 6 weeks' time on a bond that would not be lowered when they had not a sliver of proof to back the allegations made, when I had tried to bring the evidence forward that I could not possibly have committed the crime that they accused me of. Judge wouldn't allow me to speak, kept saying that I had the right to remain silent. Habeas corpus filing was filed by the Public Defender's Office, which was granted that same day for me to proceed. For the sheriff it was commanding the sheriff to bring me before the court to produce evidence as to why I was being held, and that I was being held unconstitutionally, and there were constitutional rights violations. I was never brought before the court. I'd put in several requests to speak with Sheriff Buddy East from the jail, never allowed to speak with the sheriff. Found out later that the sheriff and Bob Norman were good friends. There is so much muddy involvement in this. There are so many guilty people. None of this could have happened without the right involvement of the right people. And I know that the Tannehills, definitely, their hands are not clean in the matter. I know Mona Pittman's certainly are dirty. Certainly Liz Crowder's are. And it continues to get worse.
March in line. Hey. Hey.
You're probably getting a lot of abuse, but you're exercising the freedoms that we have.
Thank you so much, sir.
I appreciate you, man.
Oxford doesn't want to respect our constitutional rights. I was the one that was arrested for standing in front of the Confederate statue.
Is that right?
On the first, holding the state flag. So I wanted
to. A black guy that sat out here.
Anthony Hervey, and he was a damn good guy.
He sure was.
He was a damn good guy.
Yeah, but this is a liberal town.
It's
I've
very
been living
liberal
here for almost 20 years, and it's because of the university.
It is. It is.
Hey, if it wasn't for the Constitution, you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing
Absolutely,
right now.
Sir. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I signed up to protect our country and our Constitution, so that's what I'm doing.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.